So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has this fan ballot thing that they do where fans can go and vote on who they want to see go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's both significant and insignificant. Actually, kind of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame itself, both significant and insignificant. So we know who is up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Moody Blues, Dire Straits, Depeche Mode, Bon Jovi, The Cars, Judas Priest, The Zombies, Eurythmics, Jay Giles Band, Nina Simone, Kate Bush, Radiohead, Rage Against the Machine, LL Cool J, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. There's a bunch of people up for the list of nominees. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just announced who won the fan votes. Now, I say it's significant and insignificant for these reasons. If you win, you don't necessarily get anything, but the winner of the fan vote every year since the fan vote was announced has gone on to be inducted. So it's safe to say whoever won this year is probably going in. I'll tell you who in a sec. But the insignificant part, kind of, is the top 5 vote getters get an extra ballot. So out of all the ballots cast, you're essentially getting an extra ballot vote in your favor if you finish in the top 5. The downside of this is there's over 900 ballots. So 900 ballots go out, and all millions of votes that come in for these bands, they only get one. The top 5 get one extra vote going in their favor. So it doesn't necessarily sway them in any way, shape, or form. But it is pretty interesting because you are getting the popular vote, what people are thinking, the band's fans to come on out and have their say. So kind of significant and insignificant. Now, the significant part, again, whoever finishes first tends to go in. Who finished first this time? With room to spare? Could have taken a nap in the middle of this race? Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi finishing number 1 in the Rock Hall fan vote by a landslide win. 1.16 million votes for Bon Jovi. I'm not surprised. We talked about this the other day. I heard that they were leading in the vote. Bon Jovi actually came out and said, hey, thanks for all the vote. Like, I think he was even like, wow. Even more surprising to me, the Moody Blues came in second with 947,000 votes. Now, remember the other day when we talked about Radiohead and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the fact that they said that they weren't going, and then to back up that statement, went out and booked a tour during the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and to take it even a step further, they booked a show the night of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. They were like, we are not going. We could care less. They're flat out not going. Apparently, their fans are following suit. They don't care either. Radiohead finished 12th in fan voting. For popular bands, that has to be the lowest finish ever. 12th in the voting. That's unbelievable. Ironically, they finished just ahead of Rage Against the Machine. You'd have thought they would have finished worse. What is Rage saying? Has Tom Morello said anything? Because none of their fans showed up, and I know they got more fans than they got votes out there. Counting from the bottom up, Sister Rosetta got let me see here. Let me bring this open here so we can really dive into this. She got 111,000 votes. LL Cool J got 118,000 votes. I find that to be interesting because I think he might be in. MC5, 127,000. Rage, 167, 176 for Radiohead at 12. At 11, Kate Bush at 179,000 votes. Nina Simone, 184. Here's another surprising thing, and we were talking about this earlier. Depeche Mode, rabid fan base, 7.2 million followers on Facebook. Yet for the fan vote, they only get 302,000 votes. That's interesting. To me, that says not once did anybody in Depeche Mode's crew put a link on their Facebook page, because they would have definitely got more votes than what they actually did receive. Jay Giles just in front of Depeche Mode with 349,000, 450,000 for the Eurythmics. Zombies at 529. And here is your top 5, all getting an extra ballot. Judas Priest just edging out the Zombies, 538,000, 552 for the Cars, 613 for Dire Straits, 947 for Moody Blues, and 1.16 million for Bon Jovi. It is clear that the 80s music fans, Cars, Dire Straits, Bon Jovi, came out in droves to vote for this one. So those top 5 vote getters right there, Judas Priest, the Cars, Dire Straits, Moody Blues, and Bon Jovi will all get an extra ballot. And I guess it's all but assumed that Bon Jovi will get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This would be the first time the number 1 vote getter doesn't get in. As far as some of the ancillary acts, MC5, Kate Bush, Rage, Sister Rosetta, who I said should get in her own category, like a a builder category or a founder category. That's really where Sister Rosetta should be. I mean, there's no way she's going to get more acclaim than a Bon Jovi or the Cars, but she certainly does belong in that Hall of Fame, knowing all the artists she influenced after her that really went on to create rock and roll. It's a shame that she's not being treated better. But that being said, this would be the first time, if Bon Jovi doesn't get in, that a fan vote doesn't get their band or act in. But it would be interesting if Jovi, Straits, and Cars all go in together, because they're seemingly, all around the same time, all 80s acts, all deserving. But like I said, the Kate Bushes, the Nina Simones, the Depeche Modes, MC5, these acts that were super important and maybe didn't sell the most, but were super important through the course of music, are going to get shunned here, and that's kind of unfortunate, especially since, as we're seeing with Nirvana and Pearl Jam, the acts that came in the 90s and started that revitalization of rock and roll, and that jumping off point, which we often say, next to the Beatles and what they did, Nirvana was probably next as far as cultural impact and what they lifted. All the results of Nirvana in the 90s, they're starting to become eligible. So your, Sister Rosetta's, your MC5s, their chances of getting in are going to slide down the list as more and more acts become eligible, which is a shame. So I think this is a crucial moment for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And again, if you take it seriously, if you don't, I totally get it. But I think it's a crucial moment for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where they got to really make some tough decisions on who's going to get in and who's not. Rock Hall ceremony, April 14th. Stay tuned, because on December 13th, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announces who will be inducted. So we're only a week away, less than a week away from that big announcement. And of course, we'll have it for you right here on The Morning Show with Anthony.